So thank you very much for joining tonight. And, this is a 1 hour presentation. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you. It's great to have you join me. My name is Avril, and I've been working with Trend Micro for the last 20 years almost. And Trend Micro, for those of you who have never heard of Trend Micro before, we are a global cybersecurity company, and we've got 7,000 employees all around the world. By day, we protect our customers' data and keep everything secure for them. I, as part of Trend Micro for the past 12 years, have been working on the Internet Safety for Kids and Families program. And I have two children of my own, an 11-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. When I started this 12 years ago, my little boy was only 3. And it's interesting to see how technology has evolved, how my children have developed, how the conversation between me and my kids has evolved over the years, and how I think I've learned just as much as they are learning through this whole process and journey. The Internet Safety for Kids and Families program is entirely free, everything that we do. So I'm dedicated to this, and I report to my boss, Lynette, in the USA. Part of my job is to train employees. So there's over 1,000, there's over 1,300 of me around the world working for Trend Micro, and we do this in community all the time. And our goal is to deliver internet safety information to parents and to children and to teachers everywhere where it's needed most. And our goal is to empower you to feel that you may not know everything about being online and being safe online, but you know what to do, and you have the framework and the calm inside you to know that it's okay. We can get through this. It's there are challenges with the internet, but there's a lot of fun and benefits to it as well. And there's a lot of information and resources to support you, and that's what I'm here tonight to do. Our goal this year is to reach 3.1 million parents, teachers, and we're certainly there's a lot of attendees here tonight who are definitely helping us reach that goal. Also, just before I start, the owners of our company Trend Micro is Taiwanese, and the owners are very passionate about keeping the internet a clean place, and that's why the Internet Safety for Kids and Families program exists. Just to say, this month, October, is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and how appropriate to do this tonight. September is a chaotic month for everyone, isn't it? Kids, parents, teachers, everyone trying to get back into the routine of school. So that's why I waited till tonight to do this presentation, when things may have settled a little bit into routine in school and at home. We also launched the Cyber Academy today, and this is something that you can check out later. It's for kids 7 to 10 years old, and we've launched 5 episodes, and you can literally go on the website, and each episode will take you 10 minutes. You can watch this short animated video with the kids and then do a Kahoot quiz with them. And there's a worksheet, activity sheet as well, which is really cool for them to do and a lot of fun. And there's also a great conversation guide to help you have that conversation with kids. This whole video, this whole experience presents you with an opportunity to have a conversation with kids about something they all love, the internet and devices and games and apps. So I just thought given the day that's in it, and we've launched this globally, we've not just launched it in Ireland, but all around the world. By the end of the year, we're hoping to have this in Spanish, French, in Polish, and in Chinese as well. And through the end of next year, up to 10 languages all around the world. And also that we also want to be inclusive. So we're looking at for those who are visually impaired and also with learning difficulties. So we're working on it and we'll get there. So that's enough about the Cyber Academy. Before we begin, polls, I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and it's anonymous, and this is being recorded as well, just so you know, so that afterwards we will share the recording with everybody. If you gave an email address as part of Zoom, we don't expect an email address, but if you did, we'll share it with that email address that was provided. Otherwise, we'll also host it on our website, so it's there for you to watch afterwards. So the polls are just to get a feel for, I know where the counties around Ireland where you are, But the poll will give me a feel for what age your children are and just what areas you want me to cover, so I know where to delve into. And again, thank you for already engaging in the chat. It's fantastic I don't feel so alone knowing where you all are around the country. I'm here in the office in Trend Micro in Cork because I didn't want to take the risk of depending on my home Wi-Fi. So that's why I came in tonight, so that there'll be no problems with my Wi-Fi. So please feel free to use the Q&A. And what I'll do is I will hold those questions until the end, because what I want to do for the hour is get through the content of what I want to talk to you about and then answer all your questions. And I'll stay here for as long as you need me. And as long as there's questions coming in, I will answer those questions. When you end the webinar tonight, there's a feedback form. You're automatically directed to our website. And the website, trendmicro.com/internet-safety, that's where the Cyber Academy is. That's where all our recordings are under the events page. That's where all the resources for parents are as well. So, you know, there's somewhere for you to go, and there's a lot of really good content freely available for you to access. You don't have to register or any of that stuff. You can just go straight to the website. And as I said, it's recorded. So how old are your kids? This is just to get a feel for, maybe it's across all ages, but I'm just going to launch this poll here now. There you go. So you should be able to see that there now, and just answer, you know, maybe it's multiple choice. You could have a few kids, different ages. So it'll be good to see. Okay, we're looking at a lot of kids between almost 80% of you attending the call have kids from 11 to 14 years of age. And I'll share those results with you, might be more interesting. And 36% 6 to 10, and 31% of you have kids also 15 years or older. So the biggest age group here is 11 to 14, and some in the 6 to 10-year-old category. So for those in the 6 to 10-year-old category kids, don't forget the Cyber Academy. It's great fun. I did it virtually today with a school in Cork, and they loved it. They thought the animated videos were fun. So make sure you use that as well. But I will make sure that I will you know, capture those ages in everything that I talk about, and 11 to 14 as well, which is where my two are as well, my two kids. Okay, so the next question that I have is, what are you most interested to learn tonight in this webinar? Is it managing screen time for your kids? Is it helping your kids stick to age-appropriate content? Dealing with online bullying and hate? Ideas for positive uses of the internet? You're not sure, just here to learn something new and hear what's going on. So I'm just going to launch that poll and just answer those, tick whichever one you feel most applies to you, or it could be all of them. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll just there now. Okay, and share the results with you. So it's interesting to see all of us on this call, whether we're parents, guardians, foster parents, teachers, managing screen time is up there, and there's no surprise there, I guess. And helping my kids stick to age-appropriate content, which can be a big challenge, and I will cover those in this session. Dealing with online bullying or hate, I will also cover that, and ideas for positive use as well. So there's a lot of good stuff in here, and I hope that there's something for everybody, and that's usually the feedback I get. A lot of parents say, I don't even know what I'm supposed to know. So bear with me, and if questions come to mind, please do let me know. I'm just going to check the chat there. Okay. Okay, you can't connect without giving the email address. Yes, but some people give fake email addresses, which is also good because they're protecting their personal information. And I will give out the Cyber Academy link, yes. Okay, so the next, okay, we'll move on. We'll warm up. So a lot has changed in the past year, in 18 months even, but some things didn't. Children still need guidance, and they still need structure, which is what school brings to a child as well. Risks are still there online, but so are the benefits. And we have to really bear that in mind, because we're always veering towards the risks associated with it, but we have to bear in mind the benefits. So good digital citizenship is still a priority. So that is a bit of a tongue twister, even for me, no matter how many times I say it, but it is what it is. So what is it? So if we were to break this into 4 different parts, and before I even explain it, technology will never replace the role of a parent and a teacher. And if, Trend Micro are a cybersecurity company and we've been around for 32 years, and when it comes to Internet Safety for Kids and Families program, the one thing that we are very, very clear on is that the relationship that you have with your child is first and foremost. Open conversation, communication, active listening, and all of that. So there is a lot of great tech tools out there, a lot of safety measures we can do, and a lot of things we can do to safeguard our children online, which I'll go through. But don't forget that the relationship you have with your child, it evolves and grows over the years, and with that comes their responsibility to being online. So digital citizenship then is about children knowing how to be safe when they're online and how to be secure when they're online, protecting their privacy, protecting their information, respecting themselves, and respecting others as well. Digital literacy, I think COVID has, we can safely say that it fast-tracked digital literacy. Lots of children got to use devices, homeschooling, and learning from home, and doing Zoom classes and Zoom calls and online calls through primary and secondary school. So that has really fast-tracked. One of the things during COVID, obviously social skills would have fallen down through research from the Digital Wellness Lab, which I was recently reading. But maths and reading skills improved during COVID through online learning. So ethics and community is another one. This is where, when we're online, we make sure that what we do online is good for ourselves, benefits us or benefits others. And the same for mastery. When our kids are online, at whatever age, we want them to be successful. We want them to be online, have fun, enjoy it in a safe and responsible way, and use it to be successful online. So that's what digital citizenship is all about. So, okay, how do you break that down? We've broken it down. And here's the 4 things that we've broken it down into. And you may see the t-shirt I'm wearing is Internet Safety for Kids and Families. Being online, we want everyone has a right to be online in a safe way, being safe, and being kind online, and being savvy online. A lot of kids don't know what savvy means when I talk to them, but they certainly know what smart and clever is, because they are very, very smart, especially when it comes to things on the internet. So the first one I'm going to cover about all of these 4 topics. So the first one I'm going to get stuck right into is about being online. We need to set up the environment. We need to set up rules and example as well. And for safety, it's all about privacy, keeping our private information safe, keeping ourselves safe. And for kindness, it's about being kind to others and being kind to ourselves as well, for ourselves and for our kids. And savvy, good habits and good uses. And on the poll earlier, it was split quite a lot. People want to hear are keen to learn more about all these areas. So that's what we're going to do for the next, let me see what time it is. Next 30, 40 minutes. Okay, so setting up the environment. We do this for our physical health. We need a quiet space. Our ears, we need to protect them. We need lighting. The 30-30-30 rule. Every 30 minutes, take 30 seconds and look away about 30 meters if you can from your screen to give your eyes a break. A lot of people are using the blue light lenses to protect, from the light emitted from the screen as well. And they're becoming very popular. And seating, your posture. So not crossing your legs, feet on the floor, and your hands on the desk. And for children, this can be a major problem as well, because they tend to throw themselves on a couch or a beanbag or a bed, and they can get neck problems, stiff and sore. And this is really important to cover and to talk to our kids about, that, you know, if we're using devices, we need to use them to protect in a way that protects our physical health and movement. Very important to take movement breaks as well. So setting up the environment also means that we need to keep the network running, limiting access to the router. So in most routers, whether you're aware of it or not, there's two Wi-Fi points where you have two different passwords, or maybe one password. You can separate your router into two different parts. So what I would recommend is that you separate those, so that one, if you do work from home, if anybody happens to work from home, that you use one Wi-Fi connection for just the work, and the other is for the kids for gaming, if that's possible, depending on the router, on the Wi-Fi that you have. I know it's not ideal in a lot of parts of Ireland, and certainly not in my home either. I'm still waiting for the broadband. But it's something to be aware of. It does exist. You need to just look into what you have in with your service provider, maybe make a call or check their website to see what you can do. Create an account with your service provider and see what you can do, because you'd be surprised the things you can do in there. Use a Wi-Fi extender. I call these boosters. I have a very old house with walls that thick, and the boosters are fantastic because the Wi-Fi travels down the wires, so to speak, and it gives me a much better connection in several rooms. So I have a few boosters around my house, especially if working from home, it's great. Stagger using time. So for example, if you're working from home and the kids come in and want to go on devices and pull on the Wi-Fi, then, you know, in my house, it's like, okay, you need to do your homework and you can't go on devices because we need the Wi-Fi for work. So it's about staggering time of use, and then there's a lot of other reasons why you'd want to stagger the use of time as well online. Keeping the network secure. So using security software. This is where whatever device you use to connect to the internet needs to be protected from threats and dangers to your device. Cyber criminals, viruses, malware, malicious software. So any decent security software will provide you with that protection. Update your devices. When you update your device, you may notice, you know, when there's an update, it's very annoying because it takes a long time and you keep delaying it. But they're really important, because what they're saying is there are vulnerabilities. We've now got a patch for this. So once you update your device, you're protected from the latest threats and vulnerabilities. So don't ignore them. Make sure you do them regularly. And the same for your kids. They need to understand that an update means more protection for your device and everything in it. Strong passwords, they need to be long. It used to be short, complex. Now it's long as you can have it. Or you can use a password manager. Depending if you have a lot of passwords, a password manager is also great. You can get them on open source, or you can pay, you know, LastPass, you can subscribe and pay for it. But the key thing here to remember is that the stronger your password is, the harder it is for a cyber criminal to crack it. If it's over 13 digits long, mixed with characters, numbers, higher case and lower case, then it takes 2 to 3 days for a cyber criminal. If they're adamant to crack in, it'll take them that long to break into it. But if they're doing that, they must have very good reason. But we don't want that, which is why we also say change your passwords regularly and change them often and never share them. And that's especially important for kids because they share passwords with each other, and that has a lot of problems that come with that as well. So talking to your kids about these things. So while we're learning it, you know, we can't assume the kids know. So we have to just share that with them as well. So anything that you find interesting tonight, talk to them about it over dinner the next night. Use multi-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication, it comes under different names, but in every app that you have and on your device, you have that in there. You just have to find it in settings. And if you're not too sure where to find it, depending on what you're in and what device or what app you're in, you can just go onto the internet and search, where do I set up two-factor authentication on whatever app or device. It's basically 2 doors. It's like a double lock system on your front door. One is where you use your password, but then it sends a text, for example, to your phone or to your email address, and you have to take that code and put it in. So even if somebody had your password, they're not going to get into your account because they won't have that verification code. You can also use biometrics, which is, you know, face recognition and different things like that, but it is strongly recommended. And the final thing is VPN. Sometimes you already have it built into your device and you pay for it. And it would also be something that would be recommended, but not everybody uses it. Okay, so securing the network we've done, setting up our environment we've done, with physical, protecting our physical health in mind. Practicing good habits is the next one. I mentioned about software updates, do it regularly. Sometimes you can set it up to automatically do it on a certain time of the week, but just make sure you do. Make passwords and phrases, make them a phrase, make them long, make them complicated, make them something that's easy for you to remember, but nobody else. And back it up and store it safely. When I talk to kids, because we go out to kids in schools a lot, before COVID, now it's virtual, but what we would recommend to them is we ask them do they back it up, and they don't know what we mean. If somebody rolled over their device, or it got broken, or they spilled something on it, everything on that device could be gone. It could be very difficult to retrieve it. Whereas if there's a backup system in place, so that could be cloud storage, maybe €1, €2, €3, €4 a month, and everything on your device is backed up. I think I've got 15,000 photographs on my phone, but they're actually in the cloud storage. If my phone got rolled over in the morning or broken, I know that all of my precious things are safe and secure. Okay, so the next one is the tech tools, and this is a really important one. It helps with age-appropriate content, in-app purchases, time online, and monitoring. So there are so many tech tools out there. We don't even realize that you don't have to go to the shop to buy these things. They're all in the devices that you have. They're in routers, in your service providers, your Wi-Fi, in the device itself. So on your actual mobile, it's there. It's in there. There's safety settings in there that will help you manage content, restrict in-app purchases, manage time online, and monitor what your kids are doing, and age appropriate as well. It's also in every app within the device. There's safety settings as well. And all sites and apps as well have it. So it's a matter of being aware that they're there. You don't have to go and buy anything. They're all in there. And I'll go into a little more detail in a while just to explain, but just to remember that. Tech tools. So if I was to give you an example of a tech tool, let's take the iOS. Now, there's one for Android as well, which I'll show you in a minute. But for example, iOS screen time. This is something that, not that I purposely went out to get iOS devices, but I have an iPhone, my kids have 2 iPads, and my husband has an iPhone as well. So we have set up screen time. You can set this up for kids under 13. You could set up their iCloud account, and you are the guardian. And once you've done that, you literally go into settings and you set up screen time. It's all within your mobile device, and you can manage downtime. So for example, in my house, screens go down at 8 p.m. at night, and they don't, it's blocks that they just throw them, they don't throw them away, but they put them down because it's downtime. My son may get later because he's that little bit older, but you can manage that yourself. Summertime, you can extend it, breaks, you can extend it, but you can decide what the downtime is. App limits. If there's certain apps that you think, you know what, let's have a look here. You're on that app a lot, and is there a lot of learning going on there? Is it creative? What's it doing? Is it passive consumption of technology and scrolling mindlessly? Then let's have a conversation about it, and let's limit how much time you're on that every day and talk to them about it. But you can limit them. You can limit apps, you can limit websites, and you can restrict websites. You can always allow certain things. So my 2 kids are always allowed music, and different things that we agree to. And also there's content and privacy restrictions. And this is where you can block inappropriate content. You can block particular websites that you feel that are inappropriate, that they were going on and that you didn't like. I would recommend that you talk to them first about that and explain why you feel that it's inappropriate, that it's not healthy for them, it's not good for them. And depending on what it is, get into the conversation with them about it. Because at the end of the day, these devices that we give our kids, we're paying for them. It's a privilege for kids to have them. They need to be respected and managed responsibly. And that's our job as parents. No pressure on all of us parents. The struggle is real. So that's content and privacy restrictions. If you just click on the name, So within your family, you'll have your kids, for example, once you've them set up, click on their name. And once you go in there, you can get a weekly report. I'd recommend going through this with them and see, oh, you spent a lot of time on that. What, I'd love to go on it with you the next time and see what you're doing. It's a great way to get to know them in a different way. And again, downtime and nap limits based on what you see, and discuss it with them, because it's helping them understand it too. Because if they had their own way, I'm sure they'd be on it a lot longer than that we would want them to be. And from an early age, it's about the earlier you manage this, the easier then it is to manage with them. And the more you involve them in the conversation, the easier it is for it to be amicable, because they feel they've been involved in the discussions and the setting up the rules, and they'll more likely comply and go with them. And they change as well and evolve over time. So you have to review them regularly. And content and privacy, so you can restrict content, like I said. The nice thing about iOS as well, the screen time management, is you can share music, you can share photos, you can set up a photo group where you can all just share things together, and find my phone and things like that, which is really good and really useful. For Android devices, it's called Google Family Link, and it does the same thing. And where the screen time is for iOS only, you could have an iOS device, but your kids might have Android, and you can download the Google Family Link onto your iOS and manage it to the to the Android devices. So that's what I like about the Google Family Link. It's really good that way. And also, it filters apps, it limits screen time, and it tracks the child's location. And the other thing is YouTube. They have a supervised account now. And if you just go youtube.com, my family, you have a massive page of content about what to do with your kids on YouTube. They're constantly at you to get a YouTube account. There's actually a supervised account you could, if you decided you wanted to help them be successful and help them do something that they're very creative. They want to explore movie making, they want to explore filmmaking or whatever. You can be a supporter of your kids' success in a controlled environment, a supervised account. And this is how you can do it. You can choose a content setting for your child, explore more or most of YouTube. So that's a nice way to kind of a low entry barrier for your kids. And there's YouTube for kids. So for kids under 6, for tablets, there's an app you can download called YouTube for Kids. And there's very minimal advertising, there's no comments, and the videos there are child friendly. Now, when I say that, YouTube say it themselves, they patrol and they manage the content, but they can't be guaranteed always that something might just slip in there. So you always have to be vigilant, and always, especially with younger kids, always make sure you can see them and see what they're doing and check in on them regularly. Obviously, the older they get, that's not going to work, but over time, that trust will build up, and that relationship has been built up, and they go off and manage themselves. But until then, this is strongly recommended. Other tech tools. So if we look at TikTok family pairing, I don't know if many people are aware of this, but you need to set up your own TikTok account on your own device if you choose to give your child a TikTok account. TikTok is very popular and became even more popular during COVID. And a lot of children under the age of 13 are on TikTok, even though the minimum age is 13. If you choose for your child to be on TikTok, this is something you might be interested in. It is go to the settings, and in the settings is like a cog in the wheel. There's a digital well-being piece, and there's screen time management, restricted mode, and family pairing. So go into family pairing, and it says who is using this TikTok account. So if it's you, it's on your device, you're the parent. And then you both need 2 separate devices to start with. And you have the child's TikTok account and you pair it. And basically what it means is you can set a limit on your child's watch time. You can exclude content that isn't suitable for your family member, and limit who can send messages to your child. And I would urge you to, if they're between the ages of 13 and 16, make sure you do put that age in, because there are something that I've noticed with TikTok more than any of the other social networks is that they are doing things to help protect children under the age of 16. So for example, they have privacy by default. If you're under 16 registered on TikTok, you will be defaulted to privacy automatically, and you will only friends can comment on your videos, but it's an automatic private account, and your account won't be suggested to others. So things like that are really important. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this coming from the other social networks over time. Set the rules. So, we've looked at the environment, and everything to do with the environment at home. We now have to look at, okay, what devices are we going to allow them, and what apps and what games are we going to allow them to go on from a young age. And the beauty of this is it's an opportunity to sit down and research it together with them, check the reviews, check the age rating, check what the game is all about, what type of information they're going to gather on this app or game, and what's the fun in it, how does it work. And it's a great way to get to know it and get to know your child even more, what they see, and you can share with them what you're worried about too, so that together you can see both sides of the coin. And then when, obviously, maybe kids bring devices to school, or they need their devices to do their homework as well, because it's a wonderful piece of technology. But when are they? If you decide they're allowed technology during the week, is it after homework, or when do they do that? So how long are they allowed on that? That's something that you have to, obviously you don't negotiate with a 4-year-old, but the older they get, it's discussion, it's communication, and it's having that back and forth communication with them, so that both of you are happy with it. And where, like I said earlier, keep your eye on them, the younger they are especially, and always know what they're on. And even on the most child-friendly apps and games, you can never be 100% secure and sure that they're safe. So always just keep an eye on them. Vigilance is key. And with whom? I would say that, and we're all familiar with this, only except friends that you're familiar with in the real world. And in settings on every app, on every game, on every device, you can do this. You're able to set that up, friends only. And in the Cyber Academy, the short animated videos we have, we also do that as well for the 7 to 10-year-olds. So the first 5 episodes are on passwords, 2-factor authentication, privacy, security, and healthy habits. And we'll launch another 5 on Safer Internet Day next year. So, okay, so screen time management. This is something that a lot of people were interested in when I polled earlier on in the webinar. And I don't know if you're familiar with a gentleman called Dr. Rich. He is a mediatrician and a pediatrician, working for the Boston University Children's Hospital and the Center for Media and Child Health. And, when you put screen time in place, it's almost like the forbidden fruit, something that you really, it's something they want even more. And when the 1 hour is up, they want another 15 minutes. And when the 15 minutes is up, but you can't now because I'm leveling up, or you can't now because I'm just about to do something. And it's like this forbidden fruit, and it all becomes about minutes. So what he says, and this is based on research that he's done working with children for several years on media and their media use and the internet use, is that we need to turn it on its head. And we need to teach children how to start managing their own time. And that will in turn help them to self-regulate, because after all, they're going to grow up and become an adult, and they're going to have to manage their own time, manage their own structure their days. And that's why this 24-hour thing that suggestion that he has is, I think it's really good. What you do is you sit down with your child and you ask them to just tell you all the things that go on in a day for them, from the minute they go to bed, what time that is, how long they have. So you let them just write it all down. What are all the things they do in a day? So they have sleep, meal times, exercise, outdoor time. Then they have, they have supports and learning. So they have to go to school. They have to do homework. They may want to read, and they might have a Kindle. And screen time, it covers so many different things. It's quite an outdated word, really, because it was introduced during TV back in the 80s. And screen time these days is quite a difficult thing to kind of define, because it's such a gray area, and because there's screens everywhere you go. And it's attached to either on your wrist or you're in your pocket. And as kids get older, they'll be the same. So once you get them to start exploring what are all the activities that they do in a day and how long does it take for all of those things. And they start adding up all the hours it takes to do all of these things, supporting relationships, time with family, time with friends, neighbors, and then there's time left over before they go to bed. And within that time left over, what are the important things that they'd like to do? And is it that they want to be online all the time, or there's a few other things that they'd like to do? So it's about getting them to see the bigger picture of their day and all the activities that go on in a day, and just teaching them that idea of self-regulation and managing their own time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's showing them the way. And, this combined from a young age with, helping them to manage their screen time. And you can get them maybe to create a list of things that they'd like to do with their time that they left over with. So they decide what they're going to do and how they're going to use their time. And the other thing that we have to think about is, what rules do we have for ourselves? So if we sit down to watch telly with the kids and the phone comes out, what is the what did I hear recently? Your child will listen to 1% of what you say, but they'll do 100% of what you do. And I think that resonates with me anyway in my home. And how do you model behavior with your technology with your kids? Because they see it, they'll do it. I'd recommend, devices at mealtime, keep them off the table. No devices in the bedroom. I know that wasn't always possible during COVID, especially during homeschooling, but devices out of the bedroom at night. There's a lot of things that can happen at night time when you don't know what they're on. You can't see them, how long they're on. They could be up half the night. You don't know about it. So as a rule, mobile phones, devices in general, out of the bedroom, one communal area where everybody just leaves them, and it's time out. And, as well as that, an hour before bed, we should all not be on devices, because it's like drinking 6 cups of coffee before you go to bed when you're on devices, between, engaging your brain and keeping your brain alert when your body is trying to wind down and yawn, get tired and go to sleep. And that's what we need to explain to kids. That's why. So when I had to say it to my kids a while back about this 1 hour thing, because they were becoming more and more online, I explained to them that about, the melatonin and the sleep hormone and the yawning, and they're all signals that your body is preparing to go to sleep so that it can rejuvenate and re-energize for the next day. And that's why it's important not to be on a screen an hour before bed. They listen to logic. They may not listen to me a lot, but they do listen to logic, So it's explaining to them. So everything you learn, everything you hear, talk to them about it. We just can't assume they know, even though they know a lot. Okay, so that's being online. We're going to cover about being safe now, and it's about your information. The only way to protect your privacy online, if you don't want something to be seen or looked at, is not share it, not put it online in the first place. And we have to be very conscious of privacy. And when we talk to kids of all ages, whether it's primary or secondary school, we talk about privacy in that your privacy, what is it? Your personal information. It's your name, your email address, your phone number, your location, your address, your photos, your videos, the things you like, the things you comment on, the music you like, the things you buy. Everything you do online builds up a story and a picture of who you are when you are online. So it's really important that we're aware of that our personal information is very important to us to keep private. And while some people aren't necessarily too concerned about their privacy, others really are. And I can tell you now, when we talk to students, especially in secondary school, if you ask them straight off, anyone who cares about their privacy, nobody really cares. But when you get into it in conversation with them, they're all putting up their hands. They care about their privacy. So these are just, and this is just an example on Fortnite about going to settings. In Fortnite, it defaults to public. Unlike in TikTok, it defaults to, I know TikTok isn't a game, but on Fortnite, it defaults to public, whereas on TikTok, it defaults to private if you're under 16. On Fortnite, you have to actually go into the settings, and it's the 3 lines up the top, click on private, and you have to actually click private and then apply, hit the apply button down the bottom in order for your account to be private. And the same goes for friends, friends only, and you can also go into audio and all of that. So I can answer if there's any more questions. I will go into this at the end of the session as well. I just want to go through the slides because I'm conscious that some parents may want to leave within the hour. So please bear with me. I've got a lot of good stuff on Roblox, on Fortnite, and Call of Duty for any of those interested in Call of Duty and what that's all about. So protecting privacy, understanding the limits to privacy settings. You know, when even today, when I was working with a school here in Cork virtually, and I asked them about, you know, how much does it cost to use an app or a game that you love? Let's name a few. And they named out their favorite ones and they said, no, they're free. No, you don't pay, you just download them and they're free. But the true cost of free is that in order before you're allowed to use that app, you have to accept the terms and conditions. And those terms and conditions are not read by children, and a lot of adults don't read them either. And that's why we explain to kids what those terms and conditions really mean in general. And if you look, many terms and conditions are quite similar. I think the ones that I found really easy to read were the Snapchat terms and conditions. They delegalized it, so it was a really nice read, even though it was the link the toilet roll. But it gave a lot of information. But ultimately, we have to assume that nothing is private. What these terms and conditions say is, and we explain this to kids of all ages, even in primary school, is that even though this app is free or this game is free, actually, the terms and conditions say that you own everything that you post, everything, every video, every photo, every comment, every like, everything you do on that app or game is yours and you own it. However, by accepting the terms and conditions, you're allowing that social network or that game or app to do whatever they want with that information. And then we explore that with kids and teens. What is that? Yes, it's advertising. It's targeting behavior online and targeting them with advertising and selling and making money. And it's analytics, isn't it? It's monitoring behavior and what's popular and what's not. And there's money involved in that. So assume nothing is private. And this idea of a digital footprint, and it's something really important to explain to kids. Even if you share something and you regret sharing it and you take it down, whatever app you shared it on, there's an audit trail, there's a digital footprint. And so on that digital footprint, you will see that it was posted by Avril on this date at this time. And then she said this, and then there was correspondence between a few people. And then on this date at this time, Avril Ronan deleted it. So it's all there like a trail. And in the terms and conditions, it says in a court of law, or if law enforcement require it, the app or the organization responsible for the app or the game or the social network will be compelled to disclose that information to a court of law. So it's something to raise awareness with, because I think kids sometimes feel, you know, the keyboard warrior comes out, they're having a bad day, there's something going on at home, or there's something going on at school, or they're just tired or frustrated and they lash out, or they say things that they don't understand the impact it's having on other people at the other end. And that's where, you know, this is really important to say to them. And on the same breath, it's such a good opportunity to talk to them. If you get a call from your school and you need to talk to your child about something that's happened on a chat group, use it as an opportunity to talk to them. Can you tell me why this happened? Why do you think it happened? What was the reason it was sent? Whether they sent it or someone else sent it. And then to discuss this whole idea of social emotional learning. They're just kids. They don't understand the impact of their words and how they can hurt other people. So use it as an opportunity to explore. Just don't explode in their faces. Keep calm. You can explode later, but they need to understand that they can talk to you. You won't overreact. You're there to listen, and it comes back to the relationship once again. Open communication, building trust. They can tell you anything. And there will be times you won't want to hear it. You really don't want to hear it. But aren't you better off hearing it? Because the problems start when the talking stops. And no parent wants to be in that situation. So that's why communication and the relationship with your child, whatever age they are, whether they're 5, 11, or 16, it is so precious to nurture and hold on to. You know, the tech tools will all disappear over time and they become young adults. And what you want is for them to make responsible decisions online and offline when you're not around. No no pressure on us parents. So protecting information. So there's so many things online with our information as well that we need to be conscious of. And, you know, there's so many things that it can be poison search results. It can be links that just look so interesting. You've got to see what it's all about. It could be news that's not accurate. It's wrong, but it actually sounds like it could be true. And you click it, or pop-ups. And a lot of kids know about this stuff already and they know not to click them, but we can all get caught out. I met a neighbor recently in the shop, and she said she got a text message saying that her delivery was arriving and she had to click a link. And it was malicious software on a link. But she thought, oh, well, maybe I'm getting a present from somebody, or I don't remember ordering, you know. So we have to be very, very careful. It could be a link you get from a friend on WhatsApp or on a social network, but it came out of the blue and they didn't say anything to you. So don't click that link. Just reply back to them and say, did you just send me that link? I just don't like clicking links without knowing what they're about. Or you can just look at the link and search it yourself on the internet, but just don't click the link. Because what may have happened is your friend may have been on a website that's not secure. A secure website is HTTPS. It has a green lock. If you're on a website that doesn't have the green lock, that doesn't have the S for secure on it, then you could be exposed to a lot of malicious software. You could be downloading something onto your device and not even know it. And you may have accepted, yes, you can use my contacts, go access all my contacts in my contact list. And what happens then is an email with a link is sent out to everyone in your contact list, and that's why they get the link. So being vigilant is what it's all about. We have to be detectives, whatever age we're at, whether we're 85 or 5. So important to be aware of that. The security software is also important. If you're not getting pop-ups, it means you must have good security software that's protecting that. And being vigilant as well. And don't forget the HTTPS. And only use sites that are reputable and that you're familiar with and that are credible. And if you're going to a new website you haven't used before, search it. Just get a feel for what, if there's any feedback or any reviews, bad experiences about a website. People are very vocal online, and that's the beauty of the internet. So do your research. It's a great way to research about things, and talk to your kids about this. Now, I have to talk about the camera before we leave this piece on privacy. And, you know, children love to share. They love setting up new accounts. They love increasing their followers. And it's something they love, getting compliments. And what they don't understand is that people lie about who they say they are online. And they don't maybe understand that there's a thing called settings, where you can go into settings and just friends only, and only people I know in real life. And this is where we need to talk to kids about that. And as they get older, they could be dating somebody, very innocent dating. And, you know, it can happen that whoever they're dating asks for a photograph of them that may be intimate or revealing. And it's very innocently done, and it has happened, and I'm sure you've heard of a lot of cases about that. And it's important to talk to kids about this. It's better not to post it at all, because there's a few reasons for this, and this is why we need to explain it to kids. Taking a photograph, a revealing photograph of yourself, and you're a minor, is actually technically a crime, because it's creating, possessing, and if you send, it's distribution of child sexual abuse material. That's what it's considered. Now, obviously you can't explain that to a 4-year-old, but as kids get older and they understand this a little bit more, you know, you dilute down the language, but explain it to them. And because people don't always say who they say, they're not who they say they are, they can have criminal intent. They can bribe, may want money, they may bribe, blackmail them for more photographs, or may wish to meet them in person. And all of these things build up anxiety, and the child doesn't know who to turn to. And that's where we make sure that children understand that no matter what, that you're there. It doesn't matter what it is. If it happens to them or someone they know, that you won't overreact, that you're there, you won't judge them. They have to have somebody to talk to and get support. And the ISPCC, if they feel that they can talk to somebody because they're so ashamed, there is a chat line, there is a hotline, they can go and get help in a non-judgmental way as well. And this is a really important thing that we need to talk about. And we all hope, and please God, it will never happen to any of us, but being informed is how we protect ourselves. Gaming, connecting with others. There are so many wonderful games out there. You know, the benefits of gaming. We have to weigh these up with the risks. And you know, we have to look at, you know, if you look at the benefits, there's problem solving skills, teamwork, collaboration skills. It's a place for kids to hang out. It's their social place. They hang out with their friends. So it's a great place with lots of skills they can develop. The flip side of that is there's cyber criminals in the background, there's hacking, there's bad language, there's inappropriate content, there's malware attacks, and there's grooming as well. So again, diluting it down depending on the age of the person, of the child, but this is explained to them. And a lot of kids today that I spoke to, they were 11 and 12 years of age, they were familiar with this, scams on their favorite games, and they know not what to click. But not all kids are savvy to that. So that's why we need to talk about this more. So what do? Authorized versions of the games only. Make sure you check the age. They're just like movies. Every game has an age and an age appropriate review under PEGI, it's called. Check the reviews if you're unsure. Research it together with them, like I said. Strong passwords, two-factor authentication. Be aware of scams. You can turn off in-app purchases in the device itself or in the apps itself, and know how to report and show your kids how to report. And especially if something happens they're uncomfortable with, that they come and talk to you. And that's again back to the relationship. So I only have a few more slides left, and I want to cover kindness because this is something as well that people were very interested in. We need to start with kindness. A gentleman, a lovely teacher from Fermoy who's living in Kerry, Pat Cashman, said to me a long time ago, always err on the side of kindness. And I really understood what he meant. You never know what's going on in someone's life. They could snap at you, they could say something mean to you online, you just don't know. So we're better off starting off with kindness because it's the right thing to do. It reflects on you, and we say that to kids, and it helps establish norms. So if we're kind, it's infectious and we get it going. And we can't do this enough. And respecting others as well. We need to talk to kids about this, you know, respecting other people's privacy. Some kids and parents are very, very private about their children's information and what they share and what they do and how long they're online. We need to respect that other families have different rules and other families have family rules, values that are different to ours. So that's something we need to talk to as a together as a family. And the best way to do that is through example as well. If you hear something really kind, you know, you can share that with them and talk to them, especially at dinner time. No devices. Great way to develop social skills. Talk to kids about kindness and respect as if they're powers that we possess. When we use them, incredible things can happen. It is infectious. We all can remember a time when someone was so kind to us. And that's where you start talking to kids about it and let them tell you when they were kind or when someone was kind to them, and it sinks in. And the other thing that's really important with kindness is that it should be inward too. Kids, their lives online, especially when they come 11, 12, 13, 14, they feel that their online presence represents them as a person. That's it. And it's our job as parents, as teachers, to remind them that their value in this world is not represented by their presence online. They are greater than all those things online. And it's a great way, you know, to acknowledge their strengths, acknowledge their achievements, things that they have control over. And they may not be online. And maybe they have talents and strengths online too. And we need to acknowledge and celebrate those as well. Cyberbullying is something, you know, you won't see cyberbullying on these slides. We focus on kindness. And the key here, if anybody's child has been unkind to somebody else or someone has been unkind to them, it's about the conversation and getting into it with your child. And staying in touch with other parents as well is really, really important. And the final slides are about just being savvy, encouraging good habits. There are so many things that are great online that kids can do and we can do as well that maybe we're not so familiar with. So first of all, when I asked the kids today, for example, had they looked themselves up online, they all had. I said, have you ever looked your parents up online? No, they hadn't. And, you know, it's something that we need to be aware of. The things we post over the years, what's out there? Look yourself up online and see what you see what you find out. And if your kids do that, you're teaching them about impressions you get when you it's a story about somebody. You see all the photographs, videos, whatever it is, you build a story in your head about what you see, and you determine the type of person you think this is based on what you see. Encouraging good uses. So, I mean, funds can be raised. You can, we've all seen this in our local communities up and down the country. Promoting a good cause that's close to your heart or your kid's heart, or maybe it's their friends, that you can promote that online and help them with that. Entering contests, whether it's writing, they love writing, or reading contests, or coding contests, or movie making, or art contests. There's so many ways for kids to enter and to showcase their talents, and they can win things too. And what a great way to put that on their CV heading out into the world, that they use the internet to master the online world and to be successful. So it's a wonderful story. And showcasing accomplishments as well comes as part of that, and learning new skills. Research, every child does it for homework. And this one is really important. Massive online open courses, MOOCs. Remember that. This is recorded, so we'll host this on our website. Excuse me, but the massive online open course, you can do free courses online from Harvard to MIT, all around the world, the University of Adelaide. So many courses free online. Kids don't have to wait to go to college. They can do them in the summer and at Christmas and Easter for free and get tasters. And they might decide they love it or they hate it. And that'll save parents a fortune in registration fees, because a lot of us know that 50 to 70% of students in first year of college drop out because they made the wrong choice. So internet is the way to go to get samplers and tasters of the courses that are out there. So for the younger ones, learn with them, build rules together, branch out carefully and slowly, and use the tech tools that I went over with you, because they are there. It's just a matter of finding them. And if you can't find them, go online and search for them. How do I find? Where do I find? How do I set up? Or what is this Roblox thing? You'll get the 7 things you need to know about Roblox. You'll get it. Connect Safely is an excellent website for that too. And CyberSafe Kids, I'm chairperson of CyberSafe Kids. They have an excellent website, loads of great content as well, and an annual research paper on kids' behavior online, which I would thoroughly recommend as well. For the older ones, ask and listen. If you hear your son or your daughter, teen daughter, saying, "Oh my God, did you see what she posted about you?" If you overhear something, it's a great way to bring up, just listen. So, how are things? Check in with them regularly. Ask and just listen. You could be driving the car, or it could be late at night, but check in regularly. You know your own child, and you know when there's something going on. And just offer them a space to talk in a non-judgmental way where we stay calm. Discuss free apps. Like I said earlier, there is no such thing as free. And help them take breaks. You might just walk the dog with them, or drive to the beach, or go for a walk in town and get a cup of coffee somewhere. But help them take breaks, extract them. Sometimes they can't see that there's actually other things they can do. And encourage good uses. There's so many cool things out there. Just use the internet, check it. So my final slide, make sure they have a place to turn. Be prepared. And listen, when I say be prepared, you can do everything, and you hope, that your child will absorb everything you say, and they're not perfect. They will make mistakes, and we have to be aware of that. So, be prepared for a phone call, or something happens. Check in on them regularly. If they're very small kids, check what they're doing online, play with them, research with them, have fun with them online, and use moments of adversity as opportunities for strengthening their resilience and your relationship with them. It's all about resilience and grit and having that thick layer of skin on them, and that's a tough one to get to. And show them the choices and control that they do have online. Engage other parents. I can't say this enough. Whoever your friends, your children's friends are, get to know their parents. Check in with those parents. Ask how things are going. And, isn't it great that parents can talk to each other honestly and non-judgmentally, and check in with each other and look out for each other's kids? And that's what a community is about. And, it does take a village. So don't forget that. That's a powerful one that should never be overlooked. And the school as well, and teachers. and show them what kindness online looks like. And no better one than the Good News Network. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there's some lovely ones out there on Instagram even, where there's some fabulous stories. I'd be crying some evenings, just some fabulous stories. But you know, we can take an active role. And remember, technology will never replace the role of a parent. Stay active, communicate, and stay up to date. That's the end of the slide deck. The only other thing I want to show you is that before we take questions, some parents were asking about, you know, where's the website and what is it? When you end this call, you'll be redirected, this webinar, you'll be redirected to our website. It'll be this page, the feedback form. Anybody who's happy to give their email address, I will send you out maximum security for 5 devices for 1 year. And you don't have to give your email address. And when you do, we will delete those email addresses afterwards because we value your privacy. But for the purpose of this giveaway, that's why we want your email address. But if you don't have to give it. But let me know your feedback. I'd really appreciate it. If you see at the top here, there's home for parents and teachers, for kids, about us, and you can contact us. And I'll get back to you myself, or my colleague Elaine will as well. So make sure to take a look at this. And also, just so you're aware, this is the name of the website, trendmicro.com/internet safety. We have a load of resources. We've done some amazing webinars in the last 18 months with some amazing people. My boss, Lynette Owens, is the host. The red one there, setting up screen time rules, amazing. I must have listened to this webinar about 15 times. And I listened to it today again, preparing for tonight's webinar. You can't go wrong with that. I recommend it thoroughly. And there's over 20 of them in there. There's some really interesting ones as well about children with autism and online safety. So, you know, have a look. Look at something, you know, go for a walk, press play on your headset and off you go. The other one that we have is the recording. So tonight's recording will be placed on trendmicro.com internet safety. If you go to the events page, and there's a tab for Ireland UK, and under Ireland UK, just scroll down, you'll see them, internet safety and for parents, and there is my mugshot there. Sadly, that wasn't a recent photo. It's several years old. But the other 2 recordings that I've done in the last 6 months, one was on managing screen time exclusively, and the other was exclusively on gaming, and they're on the events page as well for you to look at. And I'd recommend them too. And again, the Cyber Academy, on the Trend Micro Internet Safety page, you will find the Cyber Academy as well. And they're all there, all 5 episodes. Teachers can use it in the classroom, 15 minutes every week, show the short 3-minute video, have a chat with the kids. There's questions and answers for the teacher. And then there's a Kahoot quiz, and there's a homework activity sheet as well, which is really cool, different sheets. So please use it. It's there for you because we're passionate about encouraging everyone to be safe and successful online.